Hey everybody, Ryan O'Halloran along with Jay Skurski, Buffalo News, training camp practice number 1, complete today here in Pittsburgh. I'm always going to say Rochester, but that'll be one of these years. But the real action was after practice. And practice, we'll get to that in a second, but Brandon being the general manager of the Bills, his first chance to talk about the anonymous survey in which he called Josh Allen overrated.
Yeah.
His GM was ticked off. Did it surprise you?
Good word, ticked off. We're going to keep it G-rated here, but yes, he was.
Keyword.
It was a little bit more than ticked off. Yeah, was I surprised? Maybe a little bit, but we've seen that side of Brandon Beane. We know he's a pretty straight shooter when it comes to some of this stuff, but yeah, he was not happy with it. Obviously had all the right things to say about Allen. Really took it more than just the quarterback on the field, right, and the accomplishments, but the person that he is, the kind of community representative that he's become for Buffalo, right? And you saw it after practice. I mean, he's running around doing laps, high-fiving everyone, signing as many things as he can. Josh Allen is pulled in a lot of different directions for this franchise, and I don't think that's lost on Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott. I mean, he is their superstar, right? Stephon Diggs is gone. Von Miller is still here, but he's maybe not the Von Miller of old. Josh Allen is the player that when fans in Idaho or Nebraska or Kansas think of the Buffalo Bills, they think of Josh Allen. And for all of those reasons and many, many more, including what he does on the field, the GM had his quarterbacks back today for sure.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where Brandon wanted to make a point.
Yeah,
hey,
he did.
That's my guy.
Yeah.
I'm in front of the microphone, and let's face it, he's probably the better guy to do that. Sean McDermott probably would have punted on that a little bit, saying I disagree with that.
Yeah.
But let's move to Allen. Hey, this is still a guy who throws a lot of interceptions. As camp progresses here, is that really the only thing left for him, is to manage those turnovers?
I think so. I mean, I'd like to see his deep ball accuracy get a little bit better. I thought it was interesting at the end of OTAs. It was a question that I actually asked him about, hey, what is it that you're focusing on this offseason? And he went into a fairly in-depth answer about his throwing mechanics and how he needed to sort of feel like he was reinventing those this offseason, or at least putting in a lot of work on those. And I think part of that was the injuries the last couple of years, the shoulder injury, the elbow injury. While they didn't hold him out of games, I do think that it may have compromised his mechanics somewhat. And what will the impact of that be? The interceptions is a topic. I get it. It's always going to be a topic, but I think you really have to look closer at those interceptions. Which ones are really hurting the team versus which ones are at the end of the half when he's throwing it into the end zone and it really doesn't matter, that kind of thing. This offense is going to have to make more big plays, I think, than it did last season. A big way to do that, of course, is down the field, right? And so for me, the quarterback's accuracy, are we going to notice improved mechanics? Probably not, right? I don't think we have the vision, right, as reporters, not as coaches, as even former players to see that. But I think Allen's going to recognize that, and what impact will that have?
Yeah. It felt like Josh Allen toward the end of the season threw better sidearm, which included a touchdown to Shakir in the Kansas City game.
Yeah.
What I'm looking for during this camp is, do they challenge the middle of the field? Mm-hmm. Because right now, last year, this offense was Stephon Diggs bubble because he couldn't beat anybody downfield.
Yeah.
Tight ends, Kincaid started to get down those seams, but you hit on a good point, these big plays, they had to work for every dang thing last year. And it doesn't work in the NFL, as the Bills proved last year. So I think that's one of the things that Joe Brady's got to drop. Dalton Kincaid only had 2 touchdowns last year, 73 catches. That's got to improve. See if you can get anything out of Dawson Knox. So Camp 1 in the books, basically a glorified OTA. So if fans coming for the padded practices next week, that's when things will really heat up. So for Jay, I'm Ryan, BuffaloNews.com.